Hi, this is Sally's Book Talk, bringing you the world's best books every day. Today we're exploring a deeply moving book titled Being Mortal. When life's curtain is about to fall, how do we bid our best farewell to this world? This is the final and most crucial moment of our existence. Yet, many find this topic too harsh to confront. No matter how carefully we phrase it, what do we do when independent living becomes impossible? When life's final chapter arrives, what can we do to ensure peaceful departures and leave no regrets for the living? So, most people lack clear understanding about these fundamental questions. We keep avoiding honest confrontations with aging and mortality until crisis strikes, then surrender our fate to medical technology and strangers. Being mortal teaches us how to prepare for aging and death for ourselves and loved ones, to potentially live autonomously and joyfully with dignity until life's conclusion. Author Atul Gawande is a Harvard medical professor and former White House health advisor, recognized by Time magazine in 2010 as one of the world's 100 most influential figures. In Being Mortal, he offers profound insights on mortality through medical, personal, and familial perspectives. The book's compassionate wisdom resonated globally, topping both New York Times bestsellers and Amazon's annual recommendations. Today, we'll explore this work from ordinary people's perspective. What constitutes life's best farewell? We'll examine three key questions. First, how do we continue living when aging robs us of independence? Second, what constitutes truly living in life's final stages? Third, what preparations enable our best possible farewell when the end approaches? Let's begin with the first question. How do we sustain life when aging diminishes our autonomy? This issue cuts deep in contemporary Chinese society. China now has over 240 million seniors above 60, with increasing numbers living separately from their children. Day by day, their bodies gradually decline, yet many struggle to recognize these subtle changes. They might experience repeated falls or memory lapses, clinging to independence without knowing when to seek help. They maintain solitary living until sudden collapse, maybe a severe fall or accident finally forces them to abandon independent living. Understanding aging signs and recognizing when to seek assistance becomes crucial. So, how do we determine when independent living becomes unsafe? America employs systematic evaluation standards for this determination. If you can't manage shopping, cooking, cleaning, laundry, medication, phone calls, finances, or traveling alone, losing these 8 daily living skills signals unsafe independence. Lost autonomy means surrendering life's control, a prospect more terrifying than death itself. Many elders fear not death, but the preceding losses: hearing, memory, friends, familiar routines. Some deny physical decline until denial worsens their situation. The author's wife's grandmother, Alice, typified this pattern. At 84, her unsteady gait, memory loss, and physical decline accelerated, yet she refused help, rejecting family support and continuing to drive until crashing into hedges. Criminals eventually targeted her, repeatedly extorting money through home visits. Only then did Alice confront this harsh reality. Independent living becomes unsafe for the aging and physically declining. Alice's path of self-deception proved unbearably difficult. The author argues that fear and avoidance only worsen situations when winter comes. Only through accepting aging can we live naturally. The book recounts the story of Felix, an 87-year-old geriatrician. Facing aging, Felix set modest goals, living with dignity within medical and physical limitations. How did Felix achieve this? First, he maintained employment for financial security during his final years. Second, he followed strict diet and exercise regimens, cycling thrice weekly, biannual dental checkups. As a geriatric expert, he monitored bone density, skin condition, and weight, applying preventative measures. To preserve cognition, he consciously memorized task details while performing them. Maintaining social connections with friends and patients prevented isolation-induced depression. Retirement came at 82 when his wife became nearly blind. They chose a retirement community over traditional nursing homes, settling in a two-bedroom unit at Orchard Cove with Felix's grand piano. The community provided housekeeping, laundry, and dinner services. Services could escalate based on residents' needs, including daily meals and hourly personal care assistance. Life here brought significant changes. Felix now cared for his blind wife instead of treating patients. Yet Felix discovered new purposes. Within months at Orchard Cove, he helped improve healthcare services and founded a retired physicians book club. He even mentored a young geriatrician through their first independent research project. Surviving till 87 was once considered remarkable, yet Felix calmly accepted aging's limitations while maintaining life's agency. You might argue Felix's expertise makes him exceptional. While we can't all be Felix, his approach offers valuable lessons. Most elders get infantilized by nursing homes, their safety prioritized at the cost of privacy and autonomy, leaving them physically alive but existentially empty. This raises our second crucial question. What constitutes truly living in life's twilight? Most care facilities avoid this question. Residency decisions often come from children, not elders themselves. Marketing targets adult children with amenities like grand lobbies and museum trips. Teachers middle-aged buyers want for parents, emphasizing safety over personal preferences. Children rarely ask, is this what mom actually wants or needs? They prioritize their own peace of mind over parental autonomy. Does this placement ease my worries? Rather than, does this honor mom's identity? Younger generations often miss how life's fragility reshapes elders' priorities and motivations. True living at life's end requires preserving cherished values and self-worth. So what truly matters to elders? The answer lies in simple joys and close relationships. Stanford psychologist Laura Carstensen survived a near-fatal car accident at 21, an experience that radically reshaped her understanding of life's priorities. 15 years later, this led her to propose. How we spend time depends on perceived time remaining. When young and healthy, endless possibilities make us prioritize achievement over connection. But when time feels limited, focus shifts to present joys and loved ones. Her team tested two groups, 23 to 66-year-olds, some HIV positive, and 8 to 93-year-old healthy subjects. Participants sorted cards depicting people from family members to distant acquaintances based on who they'd choose to spend 30 minutes with. The results showed younger subjects preferred informational contacts over close relationships, but age differences vanished among terminally ill subjects. Young AIDS patients and elders made identical choices. When healthy subjects imagined impending death, their preferences mirrored the ill. Mortality awareness reshuffles our priorities. We find comfort in life's simplest pleasures: friendship, family bonds, daily routines, good meals, warm sunlight. True living combines warm relationships with purposeful existence. This is life in its authentic form. How do we help frail elders find such meaning? Two American institutions offer valuable models. In 1991, new medical director Bill found only despair at a New York nursing home. Half residents had physical disabilities. 80% suffered Alzheimer's or cognitive impairments. Bill launched an unconventional solution, introducing 2 dogs, 4 cats, 100 parrots, and hundreds of plants into sterile corridors. Magic unfolded. Nonverbal residents began speaking. Recluses volunteered to walk dogs, named birds, nurtured plants, rediscovering life. They reconnected with the world through love and laughter. Mr. L had given up after losing his wife and home, until receiving 2 parrots. Initially tolerating the bird's bedside, he gradually adjusted positions to observe his new charges. Soon advising staff on parrot care, the birds pulled him from depression's abyss. Like Felix, improving healthcare, these elders found purpose nurturing life. 2 years later, prescription needs halved, while mortality dropped 15%. Nourished spirits facilitated physical healing. To help elders maintain purpose, Bill provided plants and animals for their care. Another pioneer named Karen implemented locked doors and personal kitchens for residents. Karen's assisted living model balanced safety with autonomous dignity. Private apartments featured full bathrooms, kitchens, and lockable doors. The residents could keep pets, choose furniture, and control daily schedules. They determined their own rules and acceptable risks, staying up late or sleeping days. Even against medical advice, they could choose pizza over pureed food, owning the consequences. When cognitive decline occurs, families negotiate care terms while respecting autonomy. Staff assist with meals and medications as abilities diminish. 24/7 nursing coverage handles emergencies while maintaining normalcy. Escorted outings preserve precious connections with the outside world. Caregivers become enablers rather than restrictors. This home-like environment maximizes self-determination through support. Studies show improved satisfaction and cognitive function with reduced depression rates. Let's summarize our second question's conclusions. Even near life's end, we preserve autonomy through meaningful micro-choices, through loved ones and life's simplest pleasures, warm breezes, good meals, sunlight. We find authentic living. Yet despite our battles against aging and illness, death arrives uninvited. For most, whether from cancer, dementia, organ failure, or frailty, death comes after prolonged medical warfare. While death's certainty remains, its timing stays ambiguous. The dying often cling to false hope. In desperation, we choose aggressive interventions against the inevitable. Thus, we die with chemotherapy in veins, tubes down throats, surgical scars fresh on flesh, robbed of final words, goodbye, forgiveness, love. 2008 U.S. cancer studies revealed ICU interventions worsen terminal patients' final days and triple depression risk for grieving families. This makes proper farewells crucial for both dying and surviving. Which brings us to our third essential question. When death knocks, what constitutes the best farewell? First, preparation. Choose a trustworthy physician. Current doctor-patient relationships manifest three models. The traditional paternalistic approach. Take the red pill. I know best. Doctors decide as authorities, disclosing only selective information. The consultative model. Red pill does X, blue does Y. You choose. While increasingly common, this often lacks deeper understanding. Neither model fully serves patients' needs. We require informed choices with decision-making power, plus guidance navigating medical complexities. Thus, the third model, interpretive relationship, proves most ideal, where doctors help patients clarify their priorities. Interpretive physicians ask, "What matters most to you? What fears do you carry?" Armed with these answers, they explain treatment options. Red pill versus blue, guiding toward priority-aligned choices. Your task: find such an interpretive doctor you can trust for yourself and loved ones. Second, preparation. Conduct end-of-life discussions with trusted individuals, doctors, or decision-making relatives. These conversations address overwhelming anxieties, mortality, suffering, loved ones' finances. They focus not on treatment selection, but understanding core priorities under crisis. This enables doctors to provide information maximizing wish fulfillment chances. Key questions include: what future worries you? What trade-offs seem acceptable? How should remaining time be spent if health declines? Who should decide when they cannot? Susan, a palliative care expert, has navigated thousands of such difficult dialogues, never anticipating she'd have this conversation with her own father. Decade ago, her 70-year-old father, Jack, needed spinal tumor surgery, 20% paralysis risk. The night before surgery, Susan confronted these hard questions with him. She asked, "What suffering would you endure for survival chances? What life quality is acceptable?" He replied, "If I can eat chocolate ice cream and watch football, I'll endure. For that life, I'd suffer greatly." Susan stood stunned. This answer defied expectations. Susan never anticipated this response. Her father was a UC Berkeley distinguished professor emeritus. Facing mortality, he prioritized simple joys over intellectual abstractions. This stunned Susan. Their ice cream football conversation proved life-altering. Post-surgery spinal bleeding forced another operation, potential permanent paralysis. The dilemma: let father die or condemn him to wheelchair-bound existence. Susan recalled, without that talk, she'd face endless guilt regardless of choice. But father's ice cream standard made the decision clear. She approved the second surgery. Jack lived 10 more years. Third, preparation. Breakpoint discussions during critical treatment phases. Unlike end-of-life talks, these determine when to stop painful treatments. Redirecting energy toward cherished experiences, family time, travels, simple pleasures. Life gains meaning through self-authored narratives, even in final chapters. We seek closure aligning with our deepest values and choices. And meet Peg, a piano teacher and the author's patient. At 62, this bespectacled, beloved instructor developed rare soft tissue cancer. Her students adored her gentle nature and round glasses. Diagnosis came just before her 62nd birthday. The cancer's rarity complicated treatment options. Peg faced difficult decisions balancing therapy and quality of life. After surgeries, chemo, radiation, and rehab, Peg resumed teaching with a cane. 18 months later, chemo-induced leukemia-like malignancy was detected. Peg returned for more chemotherapy treatments. She stubbornly continued teaching through therapies. When original cancer recurred, despair and rage consumed her, all efforts seemingly futile. Breakpoint discussion revealed chemo weakened her while failing against cancers. Immune collapse brought constant fevers. Leukemia treatment halted. Cancer pain caused incontinence. Final straw. Peg chose hospice care for dignified final days at home. Standard care versus hospice differs in priorities, not treatment intensity. Traditional medicine sacrifices quality for longevity extension. Hospice prioritizes life quality through terminal patients' empowerment. They believe meaningful present moments outweigh extended suffering. Multidisciplinary teams alleviate physical or emotional pain while honoring final wishes. They installed a hospital bed with commode, assisted bathing, and managed painkillers. Anxiety lifted, clarity emerged about remaining priorities. Peg's non-negotiable: continue piano lessons till the end. She also wanted farewells with friends and final student guidance. Hospice enabled 6 final weeks, 4 teaching, 2 farewell concerts. One concert featured Peg's former students, accomplished musicians, the other her current middle or high school pupils. Gathered in Peg's living room, they played Brahms, Dvorak, Chopin, and Beethoven for their beloved teacher. Peg fulfilled her final role, achieving life's perfect farewell. Near life's end, people seek legacy, sharing wisdom, resolving conflicts, ensuring loved ones thrive. This final act, the last goodbye, becomes life's most profound chapter for all involved. The writing Being Mortal, the author also bid farewell to his father, battling spinal cancer. Ultimately choosing hospice over aggressive treatment, his father reclaimed autonomy. Hospitals' life-extending protocols couldn't offer what home hospice provided: self-determination. The author considers hospice's peaceful closure, his final paternal blessing. Good Days saw his father emailing, movie watching with mom, planning university buildings. Maintaining identity till death's door became his ultimate triumph. The author reflects, guiding father through terminal decisions was agonizing, yet privileged. Individuals seem insignificant against cosmic scales, lifetimes near blips in historical currents, yet perfected life stories connect generations across time. The departed help us see our lives as historical continuum chapters. With this, we conclude Being Mortal. Full notes below. Until tomorrow,